Hello everyone and welcome to another Starcraft 2 video. For this one we're continuing the bot Gauntlet series. Last we left off we had Genzibot, the number 12 bot, defeating Spud, number 13 in a TVT, and he'll be moving on to face Mixbreed. Now I'm deciding to record right now because the internet is down. I did find a screen capture of the ladder here, so I can look at this, but I'm not gonna be able to click on any profiles because I don't have internet. So luckily I already downloaded the replays. But these top bots, I have a good feeling for kind of what they're about. Anyways, Genzi's next opponent will be a Mixbreed. So Mixbreed is a bot by Fidelina. It's one of the few bots written in Java. And yeah, Fidelina is known for Dominion Dog, which is his Terran bot, but he has a random bot as well. And of course, all his builds, Terran or not, are usually some one base pressure or some just straight up hard cheese. So that could be a good thing for Genzi, as Genzi's tends more towards being defensive than being greedy. So I guess we'll have to hop into the game and find out. So let's continue the series right now. Got the game loaded. Let's get going. So spawning in the top right, we have the returning champion. It is the red Terran. It is Genzibot. Meanwhile, on the bottom left, the random bot spawning as Protoss is Mixbreed. Pylon and Depot going down. And here we go. So Fidelita is kind of the surprise of the last Probots tournament. His Terran bot, which is very strong, but still overperformed. Despite being very strong, when in a tournament of 16 strong bots, no one thought he would make it all the way to the finals, but he did, finishing second place, even knocking out Micro Machine. Although Micro Machine did have some bugs, unfortunately, in the Probots tournament. And knocking out myself, I should say, as well, yeah. But once again, that is his Terran, this is his random, and we'll see what he has in store with Protoss here. Meanwhile, Genzibot getting his second gas geyser and barracks, so that will allow him plenty of gas to tech up quickly and likely expand slowly. SCVs coming across the map will immediately notice the lack of an expansion. Coming inside and seeing 3 gateways and a cyber core before exiting. Did not get to check out the gas, but still a good amount of information gathered. Reaper is on the way, and a Zealot on the way out of Mixbreed. Followed by a second Zealot. Okay, that's interesting. Actually, only 1 gas out of Mixbreed. Could this actually be an expansion build? I don't know. He's up to 400 minerals almost. The cheesiest thing a cheesy player can do is not cheese at all. It's the one thing no one expects. Factory going down, a little bit of a dangerous location, but it should be fine versus just the Zealots we have on the field here. Okay, so it's not going to be a Nexus, it's going to be a whole bunch of Zealots. Kind of unfortunate in the... Ooh. Oh, he's having trouble throwing down the Twilight, and Zealot's like, no way. Yeah, one unfortunate part of this build is if you're on a mass Zealots, you should probably at least get 16 workers on minerals. This has got to be a mistake, right? Or maybe he gets a certain amount of gas and then transfers these back to minerals, so he doesn't want to get more workers than you need in total. That could actually make sense. One probe does go down though and immediately getting replaced. So full scout out of this Reaper. The biggest thing it saw was 5 Zealots and the lack of still in the lack of an expansion. And we are up to 8 Zealots now. Yeah, so he's got 3 on gas, 14 on minerals. And what does he need? 200 gas to start, 100 gas to start charge. which he has. Charge begins. And they stay on gas. So I don't know what to make of this. Need more mineral workers for this. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, however, we haven't taken a look here for quite a while. We got a bunker going down, and now even a second bunker. So Genzi is respecting the fact that his opponent did not expand. Looks like the siege tank's trying to siege up over here, but he actually got walled in by his own bunker. So this means the siege tank may not even, definitely won't siege up. Well, likely won't siege up, and may not even shoot at all. That could be trouble. Marines and Marauders on the way. Marauders obviously will not be useful at all. They're just kind of like a really fat Marine, unless Mixbreed decides to send in some Stalkers or something that actually has an armored tag. Charge is nearly complete, but 16 seconds away. So it's not a charge timing, otherwise he would have been going across the map already. Although maybe he just sends out the Zealots when charge finishes, rather than trying to time it for when you arrive. Yeah, maybe timing it around Warp Gate. So the one tank got trapped, but the remainder of the tanks are popping on the right side, so a really hefty wall. I can't see Zealots getting anything done here. By the time they break through the supply depot, these tanks would have torn them to shreds. This tank may even siege up when he sees a Zealot. But Mixbreed is not volunteering to dive into his death. Maybe Genzi will get to the point where he's like, huh, I guess it's not coming, let me try to expand. Because you can't just sit back forever. Oh, look, that's exactly what happens. Bunkers getting salvaged. Expansion going down. But still a good map to defend. He's got a high ground. Yeah, a whole bunch of buffer units and 4 siege tanks through a choke point. This still seems quite deadly for mass Zealot. And here comes the Zealots, and there's so many of them. What's the unit count at? 26 charge lots coming across the map. 0-0 upgrades. But the charge is the big thing. Oh, he actually did pull off gas at a certain point. Kind of missed the whole attack. This is back up. Oh, he's actually pushing out his Genzi. What bad timing. Oh no. Tanks getting sieged up, but the Zealots are already on top of them. The bio's kiting back means these tanks are getting shredded. One tank in the back getting some good shots off, but it's not long for this world. Oh no, that timing. I guess he's going to try to take his third or something. If he just stayed siege at the top of the ramp. Marauder is focusing the weakest Zealots, so that's kind of cool. Despite there being like 15 Zealots against one Marauder, the Marauder still gets a Zealot kill. Wall off will hold him off for a little while. Should not be a supply block issue for Genzibot unless he also loses the command center as well. But still, 86 available supply shouldn't be an issue. Okay, Zealots are finally trying to attack these units. A lot of them are getting stuck on the structures for a long time. And yeah, these units are getting kited all the way back. Not actually firing as quickly as they can either. Okay, maybe they are. More Zealots coming in. Additionally, more Zealots crossing the map. Stim is about to complete, but there's no Marines left, no SCVs left. And I think that's going to be all she wrote. Medevac's coming out of the starport's not going to be too handy. One Marauder still hanging out here. Not shooting very often, though. I think it really wants to retreat. He's like, why can't I get to over here? It looks like land something can stand on. There it goes. Increases the attack rate. But the Zealot stream is not stopping. It does get it down. Might actually be better if he lost the Injubate. It'll give him 100 minerals back to do something with, but Yeah, I think at this point we're just going to go ahead and speed it up as soon as this Marauder dies. And there we go. Going down. 1 depot remaining. Genji does get revealed, which means Mixbreed is going to turn around and finish him off. So Mixbreed breaking out the cheese, and he's got many of them. I've taken a peek at his really old version of his source code, and I think he had like at least 4 different cheese builds per race. So quite interesting. So I guess we can go back to the image here and see what we got. We got Genzibot falling to Mixbreed. So Mixbreed will continue on, and we're going to have a battle at the randoms. So facing Whalemean, which is very similar style. Much like human players, if you play random, it's a lot easier to make it work if you cheese. Because who can learn all the intricacies of 9 different matchups? No one. But you can learn all the you can learn a bunch of cheese builds for different races. So that's always going to be good. So this will be interesting because let me get the replay loaded while we talk. Yeah, because this is going to be, you know, who cheeses who the best, basically. Where do I keep these replays? Why didn't I have this open already? There it is. Okay, Whalemean versus Mixbreed. Yeah, so Whalemean is written by Shark Nice. He's the author of Sharkbot, you'll see, who is number 6. And Sharkbot is Protoss, his best race. So Whalemean will obviously do best if he gets Protoss. But yeah, sometimes on the ladder, Whalemean's actually ranked higher than Sharkbot. So don't underestimate his Zerg or Terran either. And yeah, those are written in C# actually. One of the few bots that wrote C#, and he's actually the author of the Sharky framework, which is a framework you can use if you want to build a C# bot. I would guess probably the second easiest framework to use to get going. Python with the Sharpie framework being the easiest. C# with the Sharky framework being the second easiest. Yeah, so I do have the replay loaded. I think we'll just hop right into game here. Let me just move this over and switch scenes and hope it loads. There we go. And let's do it. So spawning in the top right, we have the challenger. It is the red random as Terran Whalemean. The author of this bot actually created an AI that chats, so he definitely has the chattiest bots. He's incorporated something like that into his bots. Meanwhile, in the bottom left, we have Mixbreed, which is Fidelina's Zerg. I think I remember him saying once that he didn't want to bring his random bot to the Pro Bots tournament because his Zerg was not that strong. I think. I might be making this all up. But I suspect Zerg might be the weakest race. But Zerg also is the most likely to attack first. And in cheese versus cheese, it's often about who attacks first. Proxy barracks going down. We got a second SCV there as well. A little bit of gas getting mined as well. So it could be a proxy 2 racks with Reapers. Proxy Marauders. Not too sure. Mixbreed is actually scouting even. Piling on the gas, not saving. Oh no, he's already, sorry. The pool's already done, didn't even notice. Yeah, so the Zerglings are already in production. He does have enough gas to get speed. Let's see if he stops mining. Doesn't appear to be. Second Rax has gone down here. First one has a tech lab, so if this is Marauders versus Zerglings, I don't think this is looking too good for Whalemean here. So the author is Shark Nice. He's like, what's the opposite of my name? Whalemean. There you go. Burrow, actually. Okay. A not speed. And a roach horn. Alright, so these are just like safety zerglings then. Very late roach horn, however. Now all of a sudden these proxy marauders are looking so much stronger if we're going roaches. Man, marauders are so terrible versus zerglings, but roaches, that's what they're built for. Concussive shell even completes, which is going to make it very hard for the roaches to even get into attack range, especially off of creep, and especially if these marauders have decent kiting. It might actually be the blessing and surprise for Mixbreed if he loses the roach horn, because then he'll be forced to make zerglings, which will work better than roaches. Burrow is complete though, so these zerglings are not falling quickly at least. Maybe eventually they'll pile up into numbers that Whalemean Mixbreed won't be able to deal with. Or is that Whalemean won't be able to deal with. 4 roaches on the field, however, is going to push back these marauders, but with concussive shell, well, he's taking very little hits because of concussive shell. However, these roaches are not dying due to the burrow. So, interesting dynamic here. Anything else going on at these bases? Marauders are continuing to be built. Factory down at home. Not sure what that will be for. We'll find out soon, I suppose. But for this moment, it's just going to be 2 marauders at a time. Nothing but overlords and roaches thus far out of Mixbreed. Oh, actually getting a roach kill there. Just a lot of firepower. If you shoot like all 5 volleys at once, you can kill a roach before it is able to burrow. If it's low enough, at least. Marauders did get by the roaches, and now is actually pushing all the way in. Queen will go down. Those injects are really important, so another queen is on the way, however. These roaches have actually made it over to the proxy barracks while that was happening, so they kind of pass each other in the night. It's like, you take the high ground, I'll take the low ground. And by low ground, I mean like underground. I mean, these roaches are getting decent in numbers. They'll eventually be able to deal with that. Of course, the roaches on the other side are likely starting to die. It looks like he's trying to burrow and he can't because he's blocked by other roaches. That was interesting. Something you wouldn't consider as an author if you hit burrow and you can't do it. Yeah. Marauders have been pushed out of the main base. And new marauders are able to come across because these roaches are lived in a life. Combat shields actually on the way, so there could be marines on the way. Starport. I assume Mixbreed is not going to be changing his decision off of roaches. Actually, he's trying to expand. One trap marauder here. Might end up losing one. Which he does. He's got like a 360 surround of burrowed roaches, which does almost nothing. One marine falls. I think this is looking okay for Mixbreed, especially if he's able to sneak in some drones for that expansion. Or even if he doesn't, just the fact he has somewhere to mine after his main base. But same thing going on for Whalemean. Viking on the way. That's an interesting choice. Guess there could be some overlords he could pick off. Meanwhile, however, these bases are getting shut down. Stim will not be able to complete, that's for sure. Combat Shields was able to complete, however. And that second Rax is about to die. Marines and Marauders and Viking kind of coming piecemeal across the map. That's not going to be good because all these roaches have really gathered into a significant force now. They weren't able to deal with the rush too quickly because they're spending like the majority of the time burrowed. But just the fact that they never died, at least rarely died, meant the numbers just kept getting larger and larger until eventually he could deal with it. We're just continuing to build. I guess if nothing else, this will give some extra larvae, which is nice. This is a optimistic third base. Banshee, that's nice. That will obviously be a problem at some point for Mixbreed. And scaring him. Mixbreed going home, I don't know about that choice. There's a lot of fast air compositions that just die to roaches because you just overwhelm with roaches and the air DPS is so low at the early part of the game that you can handle it. I mean, that's a pretty massive army. A little bit of droning happening here and there. Going up to lair, actually. Cloak is on the way. That's going to be a problem. Stimpack is starting yet again. And a Raven. Banshee has arrived. It appears to be a little bit afraid of the creep. Which I suppose is fine. If you stay off creep, you're likely to always not have any issues getting chased down by queens or anything. Handful or more drones coming out. Third base had a Whalemean. So it looked like it was going to be a victory for Mixbreed, but now it appears to be like who has the better transition. And can one Banshee kill an entire army? Spire going down, more gas is being added. This could be a transition into possibly mutas or something. Is this just to defend? Yeah, just to defend. I'd love to see these run across the map. There's literally nothing on the other side of the map to hold this off. Whalemean's army right now is, yeah, 2 Marines. That's his ground army. The Spire position too. Like, if you actually can't get mutas out, I can see this being a problem. Like, everything's gathering on that. It appears like that's the intended target, but the Banshee's too afraid to go in there. A constant wave of drones getting picked up, trying to expand to that third base. This Banshee is up to 19 kills, probably all drones attempting to build that third over and over again. Okay, there is the Spire. However, on the production tab, yeah, 5 mutas on the way, okay. But he's already against 4 Vikings. And the Spire's actually starting to get picked at now. More mutas coming. And these roaches are just an A move away from victory. If only he knew. Yeah, up to 5 Vikings now, and with some kiting. Trading pretty well. I mean, maybe it was even, but even is still very good for Whalemean. Because Mixbreed needed something to push back all these air units and get on the offense. Because now these Banshees are getting way out of hand. And these roaches are refusing to do anything but attack Marines that just happen to be showing up and then going back to die. So I feel like the writing's almost on the wall here. Yeah, the mutas just can't come out in large enough numbers anymore. With 5 Vikings, mutas getting 2-shot. They can be kited a little bit because of the range of the Vikings. Given mutas are faster, so they're still getting off shots, but when one muta is attacking at a time, it usually gets off like 1 shot or 0 shots before it dies. Yeah, Whalemean's actually going up to his 5th base. I think at this point it's pretty safe to speed this up. So let's go ahead and hit the fast forward button. Kind of a cool matchup. It looked like it was good for the Marauders despite the basic setup. The burrow changed everything. And just when it appeared like Mixbreed had it all but sealed, he didn't attack. And the better transition goes to Whalemean. Even these ravens come in handy against the burrow. And with that, GG. Another dethroned King of the Hill. No one's able to collect the second win in a row. So next up will be additional pylons. So let's take a look here. We got additional pylons. The number 9 bot is a Protoss written by MindMe, and it is a Python bot. A veteran bot. He's been around much longer than I have. Pretty cool bot in that it can do everything. It can use every unit. It has like counter tables, so based on the composition it's facing, it changes its own composition to try to counteract it. And it got really strong. I mean, this is about where it was peaking. I think it got up to like maybe number 5 at one point. But yeah, MindMe was kind of inactive with additional pylons, and he came back and worked on it really hard and got quite strong at this point. And then he abandoned it again. But this time he abandoned it to create a brand new bot called -0, which we will be seeing next season, who has surpassed additional pylons and is written in Go. So performance will not be an issue for that bot. I do have the replay loaded, so we'll see how this works out. I don't think additional pylons is that great versus the cheese, however. But I've seen him like respond to cheese and build cannons as ramp and things like that. So if he identifies it correctly, he'll do well. But we'll just have to wait and find out, I suppose. Will it load? Yes, it will. Okay, so let's hop into it. Spawning in the top right, we have the challenger. It is additional pylons. Meanwhile, on the bottom left, we have a blue Protoss, despite what he says. It is Whalemean. I think this is a random comment he says at the start of most of his games. Like and then insert a random race. So every once in a blue moon, like 1 in 3 times, he's being truthful. Gas pylon. Yeah, so crisp builders are really important when it comes to, especially in human play. That's something we will not see out of additional pylons. I think to make his like counter tables work and stuff, he just kind of wants to get all the different tech routes open, so he has the option to build all the different units. But then it can kind of seem odd, right? So like at the point in the game where he really needs to be getting units, he's getting like a Twilight Council and a robotics facility and like all these different things all these different tech things you may not need. But of course, to afford all that tech, he does need that early gas, I suppose. Actually a forge first. Forge into barracks. Forge into gateway. So if he's facing cheese, you know, some cannons at the ramp is a good way to go. Meanwhile, out of it, Whalemean, we do have a single gateway into a cyber core with double gas. I don't know. Feels like maybe Dark Templar? Proxy Pylon on the way. Oh, maybe Proxy Void Ray. Oh. Yeah, additional pylons, not so good against Proxy Void Rays. And unfortunately for him, in the Probots tournament, he faced a Proxy Void Ray bot followed by another Proxy Void Ray bot. However, he was able to pull off a victory versus the second one to avoid elimination. But that would have sucked to have one weakness and in the upper bracket and then the lower bracket face a bot that does exactly that thing. Now in the upper bracket he lost to Sharkbot, which is the other bot by Shark Nice. Whalemean being the random, Sharkbot being the Protoss. So I assume this build will be the same as Sharkbot's, more or less. But we'll never know. A lot of batteries down. Second pylon as well. Having an Artosis pylon isn't a big deal. Bots are obviously very good at targeting batteries when necessary, so you can always repair a pylon if it tries to get focused down, but you need more supply anyways. May as well build a second pylon up here. That is a lot of cannons. Followed by a Stargate of his own. Additional pylon definitely loves Tempest, and if somehow you can get the Tempest where he's facing void rays that have to fly over cannons to kill the Tempest, that could work out. But that is a far ways away. I believe additional pylons also uses Phoenix to use as like an anti-air weapon. So if he's like ramming Phoenix into a Void Ray shield battery, that won't be good either. Okay, so prismatic alignment is going off, which means that one battery will go down, followed by the second. Yeah, batteries versus prismatic is... Oh, sorry, cannons versus prismatic is not good for the cannons. 3 cannons down already. And barely even any hull damage done to these Void Rays. We do have a Phoenix coming out of the Stargates. That will help buy some time, I suppose, but will not help buy the victory. Really need your own Void Rays or... I do like how the Phoenix is kind of staying at maximum range. Not allowing these Void Rays to like just beam them down. So this is actually working out quite well. Do Phoenix actually outrange Void Rays? I don't think so. 6 range versus 5, yeah. So not unless he gets the Fleet Beacon upgrade. But these Void Rays are too busy shooting cannons and stuff, which means there's like free pot shots for these Phoenix. Will they actually get a kill? Yes, they do. I think that's the first Void Ray to fall. If we bring up the losses. Well, 3 units down. No, he lost 3 Void Rays. Okay. Actually, I really thought we were just going to be watching the death of additional pylons, but there's only 1 Void Ray here. The front batteries are all fairly dry, but no fresh battery does come down as well. These Phoenix are getting quite low. 3 of them left. Yeah, these, as long as he's focusing the cannons, these Phoenix won't die easily. And you do have some extra minerals, so it's not the end of the world that you're losing 1,000,000 cannons. Ooh, fighting away from the cannons though. The Void Ray range, it's definitely outgunning the micro on these Phoenix. Oh, is this another dead one? That's another dead one. That's actually a lot of Phoenix now. Mind me, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's ever actually overrun a proxy Void Ray with Phoenix. Usually he has to kill the proxy itself with stalkers and stuff, and the Phoenix is just like a death warrant to himself because they are just wasted resources a lot of the time. But he might be doing it here as long as he gets to fight with his cannons. He has lost some Phoenix however though, so the count's not up at 5 where it was a moment ago. Back down to 3 again, now up to 4. Another kill? Yes, he does get it. And another one. Yeah, 4 Phoenix against 1 Void Ray. No cannons to distract right now, but against 1 Void Ray it doesn't matter too much. A lot of damage going into that Void Ray, which is really draining these batteries. Still some full ones near the back, but the back ones aren't as valid as the front ones. I wonder if the proxy shield battery programmers always try to use the battery that's furthest away. That would be a smart method. Try to keep the front ones as fresh as possible for as long as possible. Second Void Ray's out. Phoenix count drops down to 3 or 4 again? I can't even tell. 3. And when you include the cannons, additional pylons has actually lost more, but I don't think he's lost more gas. And the gas is the bottleneck when it comes to these Stargate units. Void Rays and Phoenix are actually kind of a somewhat balanced matchup in the air. Neither of them are good at killing the other. You know, the prismatic alignment does nothing to help kill Phoenix, but Phoenix do bonus to light, and these are not light units. Okay, Void Ray does go down. Another one will survive and do some damage here as it's soaking up shield batteries. One Phoenix does not. There, it goes down. There's so many batteries now that I was about to say it's gonna be hard to drain them, but with that said, these front ones are pretty drained. I like that these Phoenix are staying back. Those are full batteries. You will not win that fight. With the 5th Phoenix, however, he's going to attempt to take it. And normally 5 Phoenix, or even 6 Phoenix against 2 is good. But not with 4 or 5 fully charged up batteries. That said, he's actually has the firepower to kill the Void Ray through the recharge of a battery. And these batteries are dry. Just one left. No, 2 left. This Void Ray will end up killing like 2 Phoenix, but then that's going to be it. Losing another Phoenix. Will he be able to get one more before it dies? He's very low on shield battery energy. Keep chasing him. You got him. It goes down. Now we do have an expansion. A fully saturated expansion in the background here for Whalemean. So he's kind of held, but at the same time, at what cost? Down to 4 patches of his own. Distance mining with the remainder of these probes. One's a little inactive as it waits to build to the Nexus. So I mean, you can't really fault this response. This looks decent, you know. Put everything into your defense. Once your defense works, then only then think about expanding. The problem is that Whalemean expanded before then. Now even taking a 3rd. Nice, so has the lifts available. Kind of good that these gateway units are being repaired as well, because it's just helping drain the batteries for when the Void Ray comes out. Wow, so much firepower. Killing a Void Ray through battery recharge. That takes quite the DPS. Yeah, these Whalemean's just throwing away units for the most part. However, it might be okay, just because of his economy. Okay, Natural finally finishes now for additional pylons. Starting to produce more workers. He's got maybe half a mineral line worth to transfer, which is nice. And with this many Phoenix, just shredding whatever gets sent across the map. Let's bring out the production tab here. We do have +1 air weapons out of Whalemean. He's actually going for Tempest, but again, Tempest without coverage. Tempests are really strong in the bot world. But, you know, 8 Phoenix can chase down 1 Tempest and kill it so easily. You can't kite with a Tempest when you're against a speedy unit and you have no support. However, with that said, the Tempest is hanging out at this forward shield battery, so that's kind of nice. And with that pylon going down, That is some depowered stuff here. Third base on the way for additional pylons. Fourth on the way for Whalemean. Okay, let's see what happens with the Tempest here. He's like, nope. Changed my mind. The lead scout. Maybe reconsider that. Robo facility. Yeah, no hesitancy. I like that. Just jump right on top of that Tempest, take it right out. Perfect. I can't say I've ever seen Mass Phoenix in PvP in the bot scene. But it's looking quite strong, actually. Even making these small amounts of gateway units look pathetic. Just pick up and instantly sniped. Carrier's on the way behind it. Okay. Carriers are a little difficult to code because we don't have enough information to use them properly. We don't know... We don't get the information of whether the interceptors are released or not. We also don't get the information of how many interceptors a carrier has. So it's hard to tell if they've all been killed off and whether you should retreat the carrier or not. But with that said, they're still doable, and they're certainly A-movable if you don't want to do any fancy micro. Uh-oh. I don't even know how you do this. How is this micro even possible? I do not know. That would be interesting though if you could... You know what you could do? You could attack your own structure, do whatever the hell this micro is, and that way you can release all your interceptors without it actually hurting your own structure. And then send all the interceptors to attack the enemy. Like, it looks like it just has an attack command. I don't think you can give orders to individual interceptors, because humans can't do that either. I don't know how that's achieved, but it's interesting. Yeah, unfortunately Whalemean was just never able to get an army together. These Tempests are completely, or these Phoenix are completely dry. Zap Brannigan using his defense by sending all the probes in until the Phoenix have reached their kill limit. Whalemean is not lacking in expansions. We got that much to say here. More Tempests on the way. Let's bring a look at the unit stab, see what we got here. One Tempest, one Carrier, whole bunch of Phoenix versus units that pop out one at a time and instantly die. And just like a feeding frenzy of probes over on the third base. Whalemean expanding to the third base of additional pylons. I'm trying to consider whether I should speed it up now. Like, is this over? I mean, Whalemean has 80 workers all mining pretty efficiently, but he can't get an army together, so I don't see how he can get back into this. There's only 3 mining bases for additional pylons, but they're all fully saturated. And now the major force coming across: Immortals, Tempest, Carriers, War Prism. This should be all she wrote. I have to imagine. Like, look at the units tab again. The entire army is one stalker. Yeah, so let's zoom it out some and let's speed it up some. I think that's gonna be it. Actually, before we do that, let's see if this interceptors are actually attacking. It appears like they are. But we did see an opportunity for some gimmicky micro. There, I was doing it again. See, he was releasing the interceptors and then they weren't actually attacking anything. That's actually very important for carriers. If you attack carriers when they don't have any interceptors out, they're extremely vulnerable. So it takes them a good like 5 seconds to get all the interceptors out in a good way. And if you're fighting like mass marine or mass hydra, they can, like, as they're coming out, just all of them die. So the ability to have them all available at once is super strong. Yeah, so let's speed this up. These bases are a fallen. Even a mothership out there. More carriers. Carriers also have a lot of like micro potential if you can figure out the interceptor thing. Because they attack from 9 range, but once the interceptors are released, you can go up to 14 range away. So you can basically stay back as far as Tempests can, except you're doing way more damage than a Tempest. You only need to go in when you need to release more interceptors. That's stacking time warps, super BM. But I'm sure Miami will be happy to see this. I don't believe the Phoenix thing has ever worked for him when trying to hold Proxy Void Ray. So it's nice to see that work out. And with that, that is good game. So additional Pylons will move on, and yeah, he was quite strong at this point in time. So, however, he's moving on to face Veteran. Veteran is a bot that was once like a tournament champion, and then he left the scene for a long time, and then bots got a lot better. But he came back with the goal of, you know, regaining his championship, and he got very good very fast. So we'll have to see how he turns out. Since then, the author of Veteran AIC has moved on to work on a machine learning bot that cannon rushes. So I'm not sure for the upcoming pro bots whether he'll be bringing a Veteran or his cannon rushing bot. They're both decent. They're both in like top 15 or so. But yeah, that'll be a tough challenge for additional Pylons. With that said, additional Pylons is good at Tempests, and Tempests are a nightmare for Terran bots to deal with. So you get up to a certain number and it's just like, oh, you just can't deal with these units that are constantly 15 range away. Yeah, but with that, I think I'll call it the end of this recording. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'm out of here. Goodbye.